Hello, welcome to episode 5 of Casey's Ice Cream Parlor, the podcast where we recap every single Sweet Valley Twins book in the series. I'm Paula and I'm here with Rich.
Hello.
We are back after a 7-week break.
Has it been 7 weeks?
It's been 7 weeks.
It's felt so much longer than 7 weeks.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah, 7 weeks due to a bereavement, and obviously we don't want to talk too much about that, but we do want to say a massive thank you to the community who have been amazing. The support has been incredible.
Yeah, thank you to everyone who's messaged on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
I tried to make a list earlier of names to mention.
It's too long.
It was too long.
There's
there was
so many.
Hundreds.
Yeah,
so
it's been incredible.
Thanks to everybody, and yeah, you know who you are if you're listening, so thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for being patient.
Yeah.
Because we love doing this show. I'm so glad we're back.
Yeah, I've missed it a lot.
Yeah.
So we're recapping book number 5, Sneaking Out.
I love the cover of this book.
My confession is that I actually read this book 6 weeks ago and haven't looked at it since.
Yeah. So we're a little late getting to this one.
Although you read it this week,
I
so
did.
if my memory is hazy, you have to fill in the gaps.
I'll fill in. It's okay.
My notes are quite detailed.
We have the benefit that I always leave everything to the last second, whereas you're much more prepared.
Yeah. So it says on the front, will Elizabeth tell her parents if Jessica sneaks out to the rock concert?
That's not even a legit question. Of course she won't.
I was surprised because I thought, well, I don't know. In one way, she's a bit of a snitch.
She is a bit of a snitch.
In another way, she does everything Jessica tells her to.
She loves being the martyr as well. And I just think, normally she just creates these problems. So I figured she wouldn't, and then she'd be like, oh, I'm so stressed. My life's so stressed because of this. So just tell your parents then,
And we've got a nice blue cover. I think the American cover is purple or pink. I can't remember. It's a different colour to ours. I don't understand why they made some different colours in different countries.
It's odd,
really
isn't
weird.
it? I don't know whether some certain colours trend better in different countries. Who knows?
And also, the American cover, one of them anyway, does not have the dog on.
Which is tragic because the dog on this cover is so cute.
Yeah, it's on our Instagram if you want to see it. But it's Jessica sneaking out of the front door, and she's wearing double denim.
She is wearing. I
approve.
It's only to get to Lila's though. She is going to change when she gets there.
I regularly wear double denim. And
me too.
I don't understand why people don't like it.
I have no issue with it. I do it all the time.
And she's also got a purple t-shirt on, obviously.
Of course, colour of the unicorns.
And the dog is
cute,
watching her. Where are you going? Don't leave me.
Yeah, the dog looks heartbroken. He's like, why? Why have you done this to me?
Yeah, you've got an issue with it, haven't you?
Well, I have an issue with it only in that it's not accurate. It's not an accurate representation, as is frequently the case with these covers. I love the cover. I love the artwork. It's really cute. But we will find out when we get to that point in the book that what happens here with the dog on the porch is not what happens at all.
No.
The dog is tied up outside on the tree.
Yeah, with a clothesline.
The clothesline, yeah. So it's a very different thing. But it's very nice anyway. I love this cover.
Blurb on the back, on the run. All the kids at Sweet Valley Middle School are talking about the big Johnny Buck concert. Why does it say on the run?
I don't know. On the run? What does that mean?
For the second year in a row, the twins' parents say they are too young to go. Elizabeth is disappointed, but will do what her parents say. But nothing and no one in the world can stop Jessica from seeing her rock idol, even if it means sneaking out. Soon Jessica comes up with a plan that she knows will fool her parents, but it means neglecting her responsibilities. Will Elizabeth once again step in and take over for her sister? Yeah.
Of course.
Or will she tell her parents the truth?
No. Absolutely not. Shall we delve into this one?
Yeah, so it opens with Jessica. She's letting Liz down as usual.
Of course.
She shows up to meet her after school and she's half an hour late.
Yeah, she actually starts by complaining to Liz that Liz is late. She's like, Liz, you're late. And then Liz is like, actually, you're the one that's late. And then Jess is kind of like,
She's such a gaslighter.
She is. She's such a gaslighter.
Even as a child.
Yeah, she got into it really early.
Even before it was a phrase that was in.
Yeah, she invented gaslighting
Yeah.
in the 80s or maybe 90s at this point. But yeah, she obviously tells her that they agreed to meet 30 minutes ago. She's just not showed up. But Jess says she will be glad that she's late when she hears the gossip.
The gossip is, she leads them over to join a group of kids that have gathered around Bruce Patman.
Yeah.
And he's waving 2 slips of paper in the air. Liz asks what the scoop is, and Jess says she sounds just like a reporter.
I have that quoted here myself.
It's like the seed is planted.
Yeah, oh God.
This is where it all started here.
The sucking up to Liz's reporter abilities start here.
So Jess tells Liz that Johnny Buck tickets went on sale that morning, and he's going to be playing tracks from his latest album called The Buck Stops Here. I love it.
I'm all about pun titles, so love it.
And Bruce is waving these tickets around, being a prick. He pretends to hand them to Caroline Pierce, and then he pulls them away before she can touch them. He's such
awful.
an asshole.
He is like every horrible kid I remember from younger school.
Yeah.
We have infant school over here. I'm not sure what that is in America, but like the younger, your younger age school. He is every bully I remember from that time. That petty, horrible, spiteful little child.
Yeah. And Elizabeth says that she bets he didn't have to stand in line.
No,
and apparently the show's half sold out, and he was the first person to get tickets.
Right. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
No. Probably got like one of their servants to go.
Well, they probably like sponsor the stadium it's in or something, or the venue. They probably own the venue or something.
Yeah.
And
last year the twins weren't allowed to go to the Johnny Buck concert because their parents said they were too young.
Yes, they were too young.
I guess they're 12 in this book, so they must have been 11 then. 11, so yeah, I would say 11 is too young.
I would say it's too young
to go to a gig.
Yeah. But they did see him, though, didn't they? They saw him from across the street.
Yeah, there was a crowd of fans outside the Valley View Hotel stalking him.
Yeah.
And they joined the crowd. He came out of the hotel to sign autographs and threw his hat into the crowd. And Elizabeth caught it, but Jessica grabbed it and she insisted that Johnny Buck had deliberately thrown it to her.
Yeah, basically she had a massive sulk until Liz gave it to her.
Yeah. And Jessica says this year she's going to go to the show and she's going to get him to autograph the cap.
Yes.
And it also tells us that Johnny Buck was only a few years older than them, so he must be quite young.
Yeah, I'm assuming he is like a Justin Bieber of his
That's
time.
literally what I was about to say.
Yeah.
I've written, I was thinking like he's Justin Bieber in my head.
Yeah.
Even the same initials.
Oh.
But I was also thinking, for those of us that are a little bit older, he's the equivalent of Aaron Carter.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Aaron Carter?
I do, actually, yes. Yeah.
I used to love Aaron Carter because he used to collect Beanie Babies.
Oh, he was a fellow collector.
He was in some magazine that I used to buy, and like Smash Hits magazine or something.
Yeah.
And he showed his collection of Beanie Babies, and he had like thousands.
Oh.
It's great.
I wonder if he's still got them.
Yeah.
He's like not famous anymore, but he's still got his hell of a collection of Beanie Babies.
I think my sister still stalks him on Twitter and like literally sends him tweets like, "I love you."
Oh.
My sister's like 34 years old.
Yeah, it's less cute when you know her sister's age, but
yeah, it's a bit weird.
Still.
But she doesn't listen to this, so yeah, she's weird.
But yeah, so
he is light years away from them in sophistication and maturity.
Apparently so, which I guess is the opposite of Justin Bieber.
And that's not going to be hard, is it, to be light years away from the twins?
Not from these twins, no.
Liz points out they might not be allowed to go, but Jessica says they have to because she's already wrote Johnny Buck a letter telling him that she's going to meet him after the show.
Yeah.
And she's told him that she's going to make him a member of the Unicorn Club.
This is big news.
Like, well, he has to come now.
The celebrity Johnny Buck is going to be an honorary member of the Unicorn Club.
I'm sure he'll be very excited.
So this works on two levels for Jessica, because obviously Jessica absolutely adores Johnny Buck. Johnny Buck's been mentioned in the last maybe 2 or 3 books in the series. She adores him. And also, she's obviously still trying so hard to impress Janet and the unicorns. And she thinks this could do both.
Yeah.
She can get to see Johnny Buck and improve her standing in the unicorns by making him a member.
And then we cut to the Wakefield Spanish Child Kitchen.
Yes.
Oh, I've missed this Spanish Child Kitchen.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen has removed everything edible from the fridge, apparently.
And that sounds like Stephen. He's a growing boy.
Yeah. He's removed a pack of bologna, a loaf of bread, and a slice of orange and walnut coffee cake. And that's a combo of flavours I've never heard before.
This is not interesting. Is Stephen pregnant?
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. He tells the twins that he's taking a date to the show.
Yes.
And he's going to go and pick up tickets for everyone. But then Ned and Alice had told him the twins were still too young.
So I don't buy this. I don't believe for a second that Stephen was going to get tickets for them. He's winding them up.
Yeah.
For sure.
And Ned can't take them because he's going to be out of town. And Alice can't take them because she's got a big business meeting.
Because it's some excuse. Alice has always got an excuse to not do something.
Yeah. So when Alice gets home, Jess pleads with her and she says Ellen's sister told Ellen that she thought Jess looked like a freshman.
Right.
Okay. That makes all the difference.
I think if anything, as a parent, that might make you worse. You'd be more
exactly.
concerned. You're like, what? So you look older than you are. Now I'm even more terrified. You're definitely not going.
Yeah. Alice says maturity is more than skin deep.
Yes, indeed.
And then when Ned gets home, she starts on Ned. She tells him she'll die if she can't go.
Yeah, apparently Jess puts on one of her best crying performances ever. Even saying to Ned that... Ned says that she won't die if she doesn't go, but she could have a future in performance herself with the way she's behaving.
As we know, she does have a future in performance.
She does indeed.
And then Jess suggests they can go with Stephen in his date.
Can you imagine?
Stephen would love that.
Yeah, I'm sure he'd be thrilled.
And she says they'll work to pay for their own $25 tickets, they'll mow lawns, they'll run errands, but the answer is still no.
No, I mean, Ned says, it's his first date with Maria. Like, he wants to impress Maria. He's going to have enough to think about without having to deal with you two.
Yeah. So they go to their rooms, and Liz accepts the decision, and she thinks, oh, well, we can go next year.
Yeah.
But Jessica does not accept the decision.
Well, yeah, she won't accept it. But there's a problem, isn't there? Because whatever she does, whichever way she accepts it, she hasn't got the money.
No. But she bought a blouse from Kendall's the week before.
Yes. 3 weeks allowance.
She says she can return it to get the money, and nothing's going to stop her from going to the gig.
Yes, this blouse that she got from Kendall, she saved up for 3 weeks. She hates it now. She's like, I hate this blouse.
Yeah.
Sell it.
Several days later, we learn that nobody wanted any errands or jobs done, and Jessica still doesn't have the money.
Yeah.
And then she starts going on about the blouse again. She tells Liz, this blouse from Kendall's would look dynamite on you.
Yeah, so now she's realised...
And she's trying to sell it to Liz.
She can't take it back, so she's just trying to sell it to everyone.
Yeah, it doesn't say she can't take it back, but I'm assuming that's what's happened.
I'm assuming, in my head canon, I thought she bought it in a sale, and no, they're like, no, you can't, it was bought in a sale.
But Liz says, I'm not buying it from you, because it's purple, and Liz says she doesn't want people to think that she's a unicorn.
Yeah.
Ouch. Burn. Plus, she says she needs her money for a pair of earrings that she's going to buy Alice for a birthday present.
Yeah. Jess, of course, thinks that Alice's birthday is a whole month away, and thinks maybe she can just postpone buying the gift until closer to the time.
So at school, Jessica approaches Amy, and we're reminded again, I don't know if you noticed, about Amy's stringy limp hair. Every damn time.
These books take every opportunity to put Amy Sutton down.
Yeah, especially her hair.
They always big up the tomboyness. The hair is constant. They're constantly slagging off her hair.
Going on about stringy limp hair whenever they mention her.
Yeah.
Jessica invites Amy over to practice cheers after school.
Which should immediately be suspect.
Yeah, Amy is shocked. But she thinks maybe Jessica actually likes me.
No.
No, she doesn't.
I mean, come on.
So when Liz arrives home, she's been staying late to make copies of The Sixers. And then she arrives home to find Amy standing in front of the mirror wearing Jessica's purple blouse.
Yeah, she hears laughing, and then she's like, yeah, what is going on? Opens the door, and there she is with the blouse on.
And apparently it's a few sizes too big for Amy. Like, how small is Amy then? Because the twins are tiny, and if it fits them but it doesn't fit Amy, it's a few sizes too big. Not like true. Slightly too big or one size too big. It says it's a few sizes too big.
Yeah.
She must be tiny.
She must be, like... This girl,
like baby
dangerously thin at this point.
Wow, she's stringy and limp, just like her hair.
Yes, stringy and limp like her hair. Liz is her most manipulative here. I was impressed. Liz is fuming about this because she knows exactly what Jess is trying to do.
And Jess is telling Amy that the blouse is made for her and that she should buy it, even though it clearly looks ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. But Liz says that, there's loads of those in the shop and I bet they're on sale.
Yeah. And she says to Amy, you could just go to Kendall's and buy one in the correct size.
The correct size and a better colour. Because, quote, the unicorns may be colourblind, but it doesn't mean the rest of us have to be.
Later on, the family head to Casey's for some shakes.
Casey's! And
Stephen, I want what Stephen's got. He has 4 scoops of ice cream on a walnut brownie with whipped cream, chocolate syrup, rocky crumble, and a cherry.
Stephen
that sounds amazing.
Some appetite, hasn't he? He is an eater, is Stephen.
Yeah.
I mean, he is growing age, I suppose. He is a grown boy, but like half of these books, whenever Stephen's in it, he's eating.
He's either eating or taking the piss out of the twins.
That's what he does. Yeah, that's his role.
A sign on the bulletin board catches Jessica's eye. And she tears it down and shoves it in her pocket. And she tells Liz it's the answer to her prayers.
Oh, what could it be?
Back at home, Jessica tells Liz to keep guard while she makes a phone call.
Yeah.
And she shows Liz the piece of paper. And the piece of paper says, needed for 3 days. A dog sitter to provide loving, tender care for a well-behaved pet. $25. Call C. Bramble. So $25, the exact amount of money for the ticket. The precise
amount of money for the ticket. Jess will be one of those people at the gig that's like, could you buy me a drink? Because literally that's all money. I have. There is some concern from Liz here. Historically, Jessica's hated dogs.
Yeah. Apparently she hates the sight of them, the smell of them, and the touch of them. Yes,
and was recently terrified of their friend's Chihuahua at a recent barbecue.
Chihuahuas are pretty scary to me.
They are quite, yeah.
I'll just say now, like...
You're not a dog. You.
When I was Jessica's age, I was terrified of dogs. And as I've got older, it's not left me, but I am a lot better now.
But if you desperately wanted a ticket for Aaron Carter, was it Aaron Carter?
Yeah.
Would you have looked after a dog?
I don't know. I don't know if I could have done. I was so afraid.
The thought of getting that Aaron Carter
and even
autograph.
In my 20s, sometimes I'd be late for work because I'd walk through the park and there'd be a dog, so I'd walk back out of the park. And then I think only when I got to about 30 was when the fear started to go down a bit.
Yeah, but it's still there.
But it's still there a little bit. Like most dogs I'm fine with now. But if one jumps up on me, I will panic.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair enough. And there are some big dogs out there.
Yeah. Well, funnily enough, I'm more scared of little dogs. So that's why I said about the Chihuahua. Like, little dogs are way scarier. Big dogs
they're way more yappy and
they're
aggressive.
Like yappy and fast. Big dogs are fine now.
Yeah, most small dogs have got that small dog syndrome, haven't they? That's what they call it.
Small dogs that scare me.
Yeah.
But where were we?
Well, after that,
going off on a tangent.
She says that she detests the sight, smell, and touch of all dogs. But she admits to Liz, I wish it was any other animal, like a quiet cat or a goldfish, but Johnny Buck is too important.
She says he's worth any sacrifice.
Well, let's hope so. As Jess calls the number. And C. Bramble was Catherine Bramble.
She was an elderly sounding lady, and she says she lives nearby. So she asked Jess to drop by after school to discuss the job.
Mm-hmm.
Jess begs Liz to go with her.
Yeah.
But Liz says, I have ballet practice. And she reminds Jess that Jess was the star pupil in the ballet class until she decided cheerleading was more important.
Yeah, she says that if Miss Andre's veins will explode if Jess misses another class, because basically, as is Jessica's, way, she's got the boosters now, so she's entirely ditched ballet. Ballet's gone. Who cares? On to the next thing.
Yeah, it's nice to know Liz is still going.
Liz is still going strong. Yeah.
Jess says that, can she tell Madame Andre that she's broken both legs or drowned in the ocean?
Breaking both legs is a lie you're going to have to keep up for like 6 months or something.
Yeah. Or also drowned in the ocean.
Drowned in the ocean
forever.
is one forever, yeah. Yeah. Oh, didn't you know we had another twin?
Yeah. And then the twins collapse in hysterics at this because Jessica clutches her throat and dramatically falls to the floor, pretending to die.
Yeah, and at that moment, Stephen walks in and comments that you two are definitely weird.
Yeah.
I can't argue with that.
And then at breakfast the next day, Stephen overhears Liz saying to Jess, "Remember, hold your hand out so he can lick it before you try and scratch his ears." And he says... He says to Liz, "Well, if this is how you get a boyfriend, I'm glad I'm not in 6th grade." He just thinks they're really weird.
Yeah, yeah.
And all day in school, Jessica's so anxious about going to meet Mrs. Bramble that she doesn't even bully, quote, plump Lois Waller about how many meatballs she put on her spaghetti.
Yeah.
Things must be bad.
Things must be bad. She's not fat shaming someone
Yeah.
at lunch. She's so stressed. Poor girl.
And by the time she gets to Mrs. Bramble's house, she's a nervous wreck.
Mm.
But Mrs. Bramble's really nice.
Yeah, she's lovely. Mrs. Bramble is, of course, going to San Francisco to I think to see her daughter for a few days. So she just needs someone to look after her lovely little dog Sally.
And Jess has turned on the charm.
Of course.
Mrs. Bramble says to Jess, "I've never met anyone so fond of dogs." She must be a good actress. But the only problem is that Mrs. Bramble wanted someone to stay at the house with the dog.
Yeah.
But she says maybe the dog could stay with the Wakefields. As she needs a lot of attention during the day, so she doesn't just want the dog to be in the empty house.
Yeah, she doesn't want the dog. You don't want you just to feed her. You need to give her some attention and love, and yeah.
And Jess knows Alice won't like this.
Of course.
She says, "Yeah, it's a great idea. My family love dogs too."
Yes. Well, the pitch having been sold, Mrs. Bramble calls for Sally, and it turns out that she's been sleeping under the sofa the whole entire time.
Enter the dog.
Have you got this quote?
I've got the oldest, fattest Cocker Spaniel Jessica had ever seen crawled out sleepily from under the sofa.
Yeah.
And Jess shudders to think this horrible beast had been snoozing by her feet.
Absolutely disgusted that this poor Cocker Spaniel, ancient Cocker Spaniel, was just sleeping under the sofa.
Apparently, Sally looks like an oversized dust mop.
Aww.
And then Sally licks her hand, and Jessica holds her breath and shuts her eyes, like she literally can't bear it.
Aww.
Mrs. Bramble says she's had Sally since she was a puppy, and she gives Jessica a long list of instructions. Only soft food, as Sally has very few teeth. Walks twice a day, and cuddles 3 times a day.
Aww.
That's not enough cuddles.
I'll cuddle her way more than that.
Yeah.
I guess that's a minimum.
Yeah. And she begs Jess to take good care of her, and she says she'll pay her on Saturday afternoon when she gets home.
Yes, but of course that's going to be too late for Jessica.
Yeah. So Jessica asks if she can have the money now, and she says she needs it for her mum's birthday present.
Aww.
And Mrs. Bramble just gives it to her. It's like, yeah, this kid I've never met. Just take $25.
Yeah,
You've done nothing
I
yet.
guess she's won over. I mean, Jessica has a future in performance, according to Ned, and she's obviously a good actress.
At school the next day, Janet is telling the unicorns that she's going to the concert with her brother's roommate.
Well, I think Jessica can do one better than that.
Yeah. Lila says, I suppose you're going in Johnny Buck's private jet. And Jessica says no, but I am meeting him after the show. Like, she just made this up in her head.
Yeah, I mean, she has completely... Well, based off of... Right, so I have a theory that Jessica's actually kind of lost her mind at the start of this book. Because she, based on him throwing a cap into the audience once, and her sending him a letter that he's not responded to, she is convinced she's going to meet him after the gig, get the hat signed, and he's going to join her 6th grade club.
Yeah. She talks about it like it's fact.
It's happening. She's telling all of her best friends, the people that she looks up to more than anything in the world, the Unicorn Club, it means everything to her. She's putting it all on the line and like, yeah, it's a fact. It's happening. It's like,
she tells them the hat story, and Janet says, we've heard that story a million times.
And I bet they have.
Yeah, like we bloody have at this point as well.
That's true.
Because we heard it in the last book as well.
We did.
Bloody hat.
We did indeed, yeah.
And Jessica says, well... I guess you don't want to hear about him becoming a unicorn then. And they all start shrieking. And she tells them she's writing to him. And she says she even wrote her last letter to him in purple ink.
Oh my God. That's how unicorn it is now. We're even down to stationery. Although stationery in school is a big deal. So I can imagine they would have purple pens. So,
especially for girls.
Yes.
I bet it was one of those gel pens that you used to get.
I reckon it was one with all the different ones. The clicky down thing with like the different colours.
I know the ones.
And the purple one was only used for special unicorn business.
Remember those gel pens? Like I had like about 20 of them.
They
My
were
whole
good,
pencil
though.
Case was just filled with them. And like every lesson I just pick a colour.
Oh. They were good though.
And everyone used to swap them in the playground.
You used to get ones with glitter in it as well, didn't you?
Yeah, I had them.
Yeah. Of course you did.
Of course I did. I was obsessed with stationery.
I was always very jealous of people's stationery.
Obsessed with it.
God,
I just want to do like a podcast about stationery.
Should we do another podcast just about stationery?
90s stationery. The rubbers.
The rubbers.
Oh, God.
But anyway.
So, Jessica has to admit to them that her parents won't let her go. But she's really shocked because Ellen, Mary and Tamara... They say their parents won't let them go either.
No, apparently rock concerts are, quote, too wild. But there's a plan.
But Lila says Jess can go with her because she's allowed to go. And we're told the reason is because her father is too busy to care how she spends her time.
Yeah, basically, my parents are neglectful. That's a plus in this one situation.
Yeah, everyone's like, I wish my parents were neglectful.
Yeah.
I wish my parents didn't care about me.
I wish my parents didn't care.
So the plan is that Jessica will tell her parents that she's sleeping at Lila's. And then she'll just go to the gig with Lila.
They will never know. It's the perfect plan. What could possibly go wrong?
Jess is in a great mood all day after that. Even the food that the cafeteria was serving, which is everyone's least favourite, didn't bother her. And that food was creamed beef. That sounds absolutely gross.
That, my friends, sounds like the most disgusting.
I've
what
never
even is
heard
creamed
of
beef? American friends, tell us what creamed beef is, because it sounds horrible.
It's probably not as bad as it sounds.
It's probably not as bad as it sounds.
In my head, it's like beef that's like...
in cream.
Been like pulverised in a blender into some kind of weird cream.
It sounds awful.
Yeah, it sounds absolutely disgusting. But Jessica devours the sloppy beef, it says. And she says she could eat dog food mud pies today and they would still taste great.
Wow.
To be honest, a dog food mud pie sounds more appealing than the creamed beef.
Yes, than creamed beef, I agree.
Maybe it's like corned beef we have over here.
Oh, maybe it's corned beef. That is
horrible.
kind of gross, but that would make some sense, actually.
So she tells Liz the plan, and it says that Liz admires her.
Yeah, I guess she admires her for doing everything that Liz won't. You know, taking the risks and,
So after school, she goes and buys her ticket. But one problem still remains.
That damned dog.
How to get Alice to agree to the dog living with them for 3 days.
Yeah.
So Jessica finds Alice in the backyard and she explains about dear old Mrs. Bramble.
Oh, she lays it on so thick.
Yeah, she comes out with a sob story. She says Sally is so old. All she does is eat and sleep. You know how it is.
Yeah, and of course...
So you're basically insulting your mum there.
Yeah.
Because Alice
As an
is
old
like...
person,
yeah.
you know how that is.
And Alice is like, well, not really. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Alice could be mistaken for the twins in Sweet Valley High.
Yeah.
So, she's certainly not old looking.
But Alice is impressed and she says Mrs. Bramble must be a wonderful person to make Jess so concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I think Alice has probably had some concerns about Jessica for some time, and it's like, wow,
She's
responsibility. You're being considerate and responsible.
And Jessica has to admit she's being paid.
Yes, yeah, of course.
But she says the real reason she's doing it though is because she just really wants to give Mrs. Bramble some peace of mind.
Aw, isn't that lovely? If
and
it
Alice
wasn't a lie.
is touched, so she agrees.
Yeah, she agrees, and she says she has to pass it by Ned first. Can't just make this decision on her own. Has to be both parents, but of course Ned is similarly impressed, and they both heap loads of praise on Jessica for being so noble.
So Jess goes with Liz to pick up Sally.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Bramble's delighted that there is two of them.
Yeah.
To give Sally love.
Yeah.
And she piles a dog bed and toys into Liz's arms, and she says she can't think of anyone who will give Sally more love than Jessica. Like, how many people does she know?
Not many.
And she tells them she'll phone every night so that Sally can hear her voice before she goes to sleep.
Oh, it's so sweet.
And she hands the leash to Jessica.
Yes.
And Jess instantly panics.
Sally pulls immediately too fast.
Mm. The leash felt like it was being tugged by a cyclone. I really doubt it.
It seems unlikely.
She quickly hands the leash back to Mrs. Bramble, and she says, "Oh, I'll carry the dog bed." She yanks the dog bed out of Liz's arms, and a rubber lamb chop fell to the floor. This gets Sally excited.
Of course, it's her favourite toy.
She goes wild, and she darts through Jessica's feet. Jessica screamed like she'd been attacked by vampires. And then Liz covers up Jess's fear.
I know, Liz does a good job here, even though I don't know how it quite works.
Yeah.
Because if Mrs. Bramble's looking at them, this doesn't make any sense or work at all.
No.
So I'm guessing that Mrs. Bramble was distracted at the time.
Mm-hmm. She says to Mrs. Bramble that Jessica's screaming because the dog bed had fallen on her toe.
Now, your basket might be a bit... I mean, even that's only made of like light plastic.
Yeah.
But the bed itself is just going to be like a cushion.
Yeah.
So this has fallen supposedly onto Jess's foot.
And made her scream.
And it's not even like she screamed in agony. It was a horror fear scream, not a pain scream. But yeah, of course, and she suggests that Jess just needs to walk it off.
Yeah, and Jessica starts fake limping. So Elizabeth takes the leash.
Yeah, and Mrs. Bramble offers to go and get ice to help her with her foot.
For a cushion falling on her toe.
Yeah. Poor Mrs. Bramble.
The family, the Wakefields, they all make a massive fuss of Sally when she gets home.
Yeah.
But Jessica treats Sally like she's got a disease. The smell of the dog food turns her stomach. I thought she said she could eat, like, dog food mud pies.
Yeah, she was on about eating dog food mud pies earlier. that was at lunchtime, though. Yeah, she's terrified of Sally, especially now since she went for the toy.
Yeah, she begs Liz to feed Sally. And when it's time for Sally's walk, she tells Liz she's got too much homework. And she also makes another excuse in the morning why she can't walk her as well. So, Liz walks her twice. At school, Janet says that Jess and Lila can ride with her brother to the concert.
Yes, because as president of the Unicorn Club, Janet feels it is her duty to personally welcome the buck into the unicorns.
Yeah. And then Bruce comes over.
Yeah.
And he says he's heard from Caroline Pierce that Jessica has a connection to Johnny. And asks her to meet him at intermission for a cake.
Yeah.
And Janet sneers. How would Caroline know anything? She's not even a unicorn. Like, Janet, shut the fuck up. Caroline knows everything.
When has Caroline ever been wrong?
Never.
Never. She reports only facts.
Yeah.
Jess, meanwhile, is busy thinking that Bruce looks cute, even if he is wearing a football jersey that's too big for him.
And then, yeah, when Jess gets home, her mood's ruined, though.
Oh, no.
Because Sally jumps onto her lap, ready for a walk.
Yeah. And, of course, Jess immediately claims that, oh, my side's hurting.
Yeah.
Now her side is hurting.
Says she's got an injury from dance. So Liz walks Sally.
The dance she doesn't do. Oh, I guess she's doing the boosters, so I guess maybe she... Yeah, okay.
So Liz walks Sally again.
Yeah, I mean...
What a doormat.
The thing is, the book makes it clear as well.
Like,
that,
every time.
Yeah, and the thing is like, the book makes it clear that Liz knows this is bullshit, but she goes along with it anyway.
Yeah.
She's her own worst enemy.
And then Mrs. Bramble calls, and Jess answers the phone. She says that Sally's gone out with Liz, and she said, I couldn't walk Sally because of an injury. And Mrs. Bramble panics.
She thinks there's an insurance claim coming her way because of the bed.
Yeah, obviously she thinks it's the dog bed. And she says, I'm so sorry, and I brought you a gift to apologise.
Oh, God, it just gets worse.
And later on, Jess is struggling with her maths homework, and she just gets Liz to do that as well. Yeah,
and again, it's clear. Jess walks in the moment she walks in. Liz is like, the answer is no, because I know what you're going to ask me. And Jess is basically like, well, if I do this homework, I won't have time to do the other homework I have to do. But, like, presumably Liz has to do all of her own homework anyway, the same as Jess. But apparently that's an excuse for Jess. And that will mean she'll have to be held back after school the next day, meaning that she won't be able to walk Sally.
It's like, you're not fucking walking her anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, you're not going to walk her.
But Liz agrees, and she does it. So Saturday finally comes.
Jess is so excited. In bed.
She's wondering how Johnny Buck will sign the cap. Will he write yours always? Will he write all my love?
Yeah. Apparently she dreams that Johnny will see her in the crowd and just walk straight over to her from like, oh, you're the girl with the purple pen. You're the girl I threw the cap at a year ago.
But then she's interrupted by Sally pushing her fat body through the door and dropping her leash onto Jess's bed. So Jess goes downstairs to try and obviously get someone else to walk Sally again. Like, it's the last time as well.
Yeah, I know. It's literally the last day you have to do
her.
this.
Just do it once.
Yeah, absolutely. She says apparently she feels a stomach bug coming on or something.
Sure.
It's like stomach pain. Now, I'm sure it will go away as soon as the buck takes to the stage.
But she's in trouble because nobody's home.
No, nobody's there. She calls and nobody's around.
But she's saved and she's relieved when Liz comes in with Amy and Julie. And she tells Liz, oh, I've got a stomach ache. And Liz says, look, like, we're going to Casey's. Dogs aren't allowed in.
Yeah.
So I can't take her.
Yeah, they need to go to Casey's because they are meeting their gossip reporter, Caroline Pierce. It's a very important meeting.
And yeah, Liz says dogs aren't allowed into Casey's, and Julie says, not according to Bruce. He says they've got lots of dogs working behind the counter.
I couldn't believe this in a twins book.
And then, like, Julie, Amy, and Elizabeth laugh hysterically.
They're all just laughing their heads off.
It's not very nice.
No, and it's the opposite of what Liz would normally be like.
Yeah,
I couldn't believe it.
To, like sisterhood and just. Like Bruce
Liz is always
pig.
stuck up. I mean, Liz has always been massively judgmental of girls and boys in her life, in her mind, but never like this.
Yeah.
This is very bitchy for her.
Yeah, even Amy, you'd think would say that's not a very nice thing.
Well, given the amount of shit that Amy gets, you would have thought.
Yeah, but Jessica realizes she's going to have to walk Sally.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to have to walk Sally once.
Once. Oh, the heartache for £25.
So
that's a good rate per hour, considering she's only doing it once.
Yeah. So she wraps the lead around her hand 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And to be fair, it does sound like she's genuinely scared. Like she's not just
does.
being lazy.
And earlier in the book, it was made clear she genuinely is scared of the dog.
I think
It's
she's
not
lazy anyway. But...
She's lazy and she can't be bothered, but she is also genuinely quite scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone they pass is showering Sally with compliments until they pass a tall girl about Jess's age, and this tall girl doesn't even look at them.
She's apparently perfectly groomed.
Yep, she's wearing a straight skirt, stockings, and a pretty quilted jacket.
Wow. So Jess thinks that this girl is the only other girl in Sweet Valley with any sense. She hates the dog too.
Yeah. But Sally isn't used to being ignored.
No.
So she tugs the leash, running back towards the girl. Like, pay me attention.
Yeah, pay me attention.
She's like a dog version of Jessica.
She is, basically, yeah.
If someone ignores Jessica, she's like, how dare they ignore me? The girl turns around and Jessica introduces herself. And the girl says that she is called Brooke Dennis and that the dog needs a bath.
Yeah, and there's kind of a turning point here where Jess is actually kind of annoyed by this.
Yeah. She's really offended, but Brooke says, my mother used to breed dogs and Sally isn't worth looking at.
Aww.
Bitch.
Yeah, and Brooke just walks away. Sally tries to get her attention again. And then Brooke just says, ugh, get this mangy mutt away from me. And kicks Sally away.
I can't believe that. She kicks her.
I know.
Jessica's furious, rightly so. And she tells Brooke to get some manners. And Brooke says, I'm sorry I'm moving to this dumb town.
I can't wait to hear more about Brooke in the future.
Well, she's in the next book, so you haven't got long to wait. And Sally's well behaved for the rest of the walk until they see Mrs. Blaney's cat, Tabitha. She's huge, she's black, and she's not fond of dogs.
No, she does not like dogs. But of course, Sally's having none of that and tries to make friends.
Yeah, so Tabitha scratches Sally's nose.
Oh no.
What a brave cat.
What a very brave cat that immediately runs away.
Yeah, Sally turns into a streak of brown lightning. She chases Tabitha up a tree.
Oh no.
Mrs. Blaney comes out and she kicks right off.
Yeah, she is not having. She
calls Sally nasty, and she says my Tabitha would never scratch anyone.
Yeah, she is so worried, and she thinks that Tabitha is so high that for reasons I can't understand, she thinks that she's going to call the police. Yeah. I was like, wouldn't you phone the fire brigade traditionally?
Arrest this dog.
Arrest this dog and save my cat from this tree. I was really confused by this. I was like, wouldn't you just call the fire brigade? That's like the traditional thing, right?
Yeah. But Jessica really panics because she's got to get home for the concert.
Yeah, of course. She doesn't want to get in trouble, and she also realises if she waits for the police, it'll be too late. She won't be able to meet Lila.
Yeah. And then she has an idea, which as cat owners, we can say, I'm sure you agree with this.
Oh, I was
it's
reading.
It's a fucking stupid idea.
I was reading this like this would never work, yet somehow it worked.
Yeah, she pulls out the rubber lamb chop from her pocket, which for some reason she has in her pocket.
Yeah, well, it's her favourite toy, maybe just in case she needed, you know.
And she starts squeaking it.
Yeah. Tabitha's
interested.
No, Tabitha would look at you like you're an idiot and then just ignore you.
Yeah. Like, our cats would
both
not
cat
this.
owners here. That honestly, I've never known a cat be interested in a squeaky toy.
No. Either be scared of it or not give a shit.
Yeah.
But Tabitha, she likes it, and she slowly starts inching her way down the tree trunk.
Yeah. I've got this written down. I actually wrote down, this would literally never work on our cats.
No. And then as soon as she's down, Jessica rushes home with Sally.
Yep. She finds the phone ringing.
It's Lila.
Mm-hmm.
She demands to know why Jess isn't there yet.
Yes, she's got a new dress that she wants to show off.
Yeah, apparently it's a dress that her daddy had said she could only wear over his dead body. So it must be good. Well, Jessica's impressed.
Yeah. Jessica's immediately impressed. And Lila says that she told her dad that if the dress bothers him, just wait until he sees the bill.
So Jessica tries to call Mrs. Bramble to come and collect Sally, but she gets no answer.
Yeah, so Mrs. Bramble should have been back by now. But yeah, she's not there. So, you know, just thinks, well, I the least I can do is get packed and ready.
Yeah. She can't find anything to wear, apparently. Like, she would have planned her outfit before she even bought the ticket.
You would have thought,
buy
but
this.
Maybe this is the younger years. Maybe this is the day that she realises that in future she needs to plan ahead.
So she heads to Liz's closet.
Yeah. I don't know why she bothers looking at her own clothes.
Yeah.
She's never once worn one of her clothes in these books.
No.
Every time she goes and steals something from Liz, it's like, why don't you just start in Liz's closet?
Yeah. But then they always emphasise how differently the twins dress.
Yeah, it's almost like Liz has got a load of clothes that she never wears.
Yeah.
That are like too cool for her. Mm-hmm. Like maybe Alice buys it for her.
Yeah. Well, this outfit that she finds in Liz's closet is a new dress that Liz has bought for the 6th grade dance.
Yeah.
A pale beige scoop neck and a raspberry jacket. And underneath the outfit was a perfect pair of leather slippers. Oh. So she just decides to steal the whole outfit.
Well, it's not just that though, is it?
She doesn't stop there. She finds the earrings that Liz had bought for Alice's birthday and she steals them as well.
Yeah, she thinks that it's not something she would normally do, but the buck is too important.
So then Mrs. Bramble calls and she's got bad news.
The bus is broken down.
Mm-hmm.
She's going to have to get the next one, later bus home, which means she will not be home until the evening.
Mm. And the concert's at 4 p.m.
Yeah.
So Jessica needs a plan. It gets to 2:30 and Elizabeth still isn't home. Sally is stood by her water bowl, panting like a tired vacuum cleaner, and Jessica realises chasing the cat must have made her thirsty. And that was fucking hours ago. She's not had any water since then.
This dog is like dying on the floor.
Left her without any water.
But now she's going to hideously overcompensate. I think she gives her 6 bowls of water or something stupid like that. I don't have the number written down, but she keeps giving her bowls of water. And then it's like, yeah, I'll just leave her here and that'll be fine. Yeah.
Apparently she says to Sally, all right, I'll get you some water. It's like, it's not a privilege or a treat. No, this dog should always have access to water.
It's a necessity.
And yeah, Sally's so dehydrated she drinks 3 bowls, one after the other. Yeah. God, she must have been without water for hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unbelievable.
After chasing a cat up a tree and running around like a lunatic.
Absolutely unbelievable.
She wouldn't have even got a puddle on the way home because, as we know, it never rains in Sweet Valley. Apart from that one time.
Yeah, that one time.
That one race when it rained.
They needed Roger Barrett to slip over on the floor in the corridor.
Yeah. Comical slip.
So that's the one time it had to rain.
The only time.
So Jessica decides she has to get to Lila's. So she just finds a clothesline and she just ties Sally to a tree outside. Yeah,
it's Liz's favourite tree.
Yeah.
The thinking tree, or the.
Why wouldn't she just leave Sally in the house?
Well, they explain that because she's just given her 3 bowls of water and she's really worried that she's going to wee everywhere.
Of course, yeah.
So she thinks I'll just take her outside. And
I'm not used to this dog stuff. I'm used to just a litter tray in the house.
A litter tray, they just take care of themselves, don't they? Apparently dogs don't. So, so she's worried. So she ties her outside. What I couldn't understand is why she used. I guess it's a longer leash if she uses the clothesline, but it's like you could have used her lead, then she definitely wouldn't have got away.
Yeah, clothesline doesn't seem very strong.
Doesn't seem like the sturdiest of things, no.
She leaves a note for Liz and then she just leaves without even saying goodbye to Sally.
Yeah, and the book does point out, by the way, that she is the worst, universally rubbish at tying knots. Apparently she once tried to pay attention to Stephen tying knots, and Stephen ended up making fun of her because she's so awful at tying knots. But she just gives it a go anyway and walks away.
How hard is it to tie a knot?
Well, we're about to find out.
So Sally, she's tied up, and then
she's chill.
But then she spots Tabitha. Tabitha's back.
Tabitha the Revenge.
Yeah. She breaks free, chasing after Tabitha.
Yeah, leaving Liz to come home to an empty house.
Liz looks for Sally everywhere, and then she finds Jess's note asking her to watch her. And then she finds the rope around the tree.
Yeah.
And she realises what's happened.
Oh, no.
She tries to call Lila's, but the line's busy, so she runs over there. But Lila and Jess have already left.
Yeah, she's missed them by minutes. They've headed to the concert already.
Mm-hmm. So she calls stringy-haired Amy for help. And they spend an hour and a half searching for Sally, but Liz realizes she's going to have to tell their parents.
Yeah. Well, yeah, absolutely. Sally is absolutely missing at this point. They've looked everywhere. There's only one thing for it. They're going to have to tell Alice.
Mm. And then we got to the concert. Finally,
the concert. Here we are at the concert with Jessica and Lila.
And the buck launches into Saturday Blues.
Oh.
Which is a fast, funny romp that all the unicorns loved.
Yeah.
But then his mic goes dead.
And people start complaining, getting restless, and then apparently...
Says they start to riot.
Yeah, basically a riot breaks out, and apparently someone is so sweary that like everyone's shocked at the kind of language being used.
These like gigs though for like Justin Bieber and One Direction,
they do go crazy,
insane.
Right? Yeah.
Like they'd make like the rock and metal gigs we go to look like nothing.
Yeah.
They seriously would. I've seen footage.
I've seen these footage. Kids. You were there at the Aaron concerts back in the day.
I wasn't allowed actually.
They're too wild.
Yeah, these kids are mental at these gigs.
Yeah,
they're insane.
Well, apparently they are insane. So, there's basically a riot going on. But Jess is like, we're too far back. I want to get to the front.
Yeah, she says, now's our chance to get closer to the stage.
Now there's a riot. Now's our chance.
But Lila says she's not pushing her way through that mob.
Yeah, I don't blame her.
And I'm not surprised. Like, I don't think Lila would even stand up at a gig. Go to the front.
No, she'd be in the VIP box.
Yeah, she'd have like a VIP
chilling
ticket.
Chilling up here.
Yeah, she'd have her own box or something.
Yeah.
She's too posh to stand in a crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. But Jess has promised the unicorns an autograph. She has to go through with this. So she heads off following what she thinks is Bruce Patman.
Yeah, but it's not.
It's not. And now she's lost.
Yeah, now she's lost Lila.
She's lost Lila. She's lost everyone. She's in a huge crowd. But then during the intermission, because the microphone gets fixed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And then the concert resumes and she's stuck in the crowd. But then during the intermission, someone appears.
Yeah, she actually does bump into Bruce, who tells her they've got a coke date.
Yeah.
That sounds really, really dodgy.
It sounds really dodgy. She's basically like, oh, I've lost Lila. And Bruce is like, good. Because we've got a coke date.
Yeah. They head to the refreshment tent and then they end up even closer to the stage.
Yeah, so basically like Jess is going along with everything that gets her closer to the stage at this point.
And she tells Bruce that she's staying there so Johnny can sign the hat. And Bruce is like, fine. And just leaves her.
Yeah, well, you can't blame him.
What a gent.
The Buck starts playing Forever Fever. It's his favourite Buck song. So he's like, well, I'm going off to have some fun. And she refuses. So he's like, oh, fine.
And then she spots a pretty redhead clutching a hat to her chest. And it's the same as Jess's hat.
How could the Buck have given another hat, the same hat, to a different girl?
Then she spots 3 more.
Oh, no.
And then she realises that every little teeny bopper in the front of the crowd has that hat.
Johnny must have been giving them out like peanuts.
Yeah, she's fuming.
She is absolutely
At least 50
fuming.
girls have one, apparently. That phony, she rages. Like, why is she so mad?
I know.
She literally thought, like, oh,
she thought she was special.
Sucker.
She thought she was the one, even though he technically threw it to Liz.
Yeah.
If he threw it at anyone.
And then she can't even get it signed because afterwards Johnny's led away by his bodyguards.
Yeah. And of course, there's still a crowd of people hoping, chanting, so that they can get autographs from Johnny. And Jessica gets pulled around and eventually is pushed over where she stays crying.
Yeah. And a small fat man in a brown suit comes out. And he starts handing all the girls signed photos.
Yeah, he gets people to help her up.
And he says to her, this photo was signed just for you.
Yeah.
But then when he goes away, all the girls compare their photos and they all say exactly the same thing.
Of course they do, yeah.
They all say, keep on rocking, your friend Johnny Buck.
Oh.
And Jessica feels humiliated.
Humiliated.
Why is she humiliated?
I don't really... Well, I guess she's going to be humiliated because of the unicorn thing. And I guess because she felt that she had something special with this man she's never met.
Yeah.
She did write a nice purple letter to him once.
And she also vows never to go to another gig until she's 21.
Well, she can never go to another gig until she's 21, assuming she can find her way out, because she is lost.
I don't know why she says that either.
No, that's not going to last, is it?
It's pretty standard, though. Like, you go to a gig, you lose your friends...
You get your heart broken.
You lose your friends. You don't get to meet the person after.
Yeah.
You get a generic bit of merch.
That's pretty much how it works.
World.
That's pretty much how it works.
Yeah.
I guess this is her first experience, and she doesn't realise this is how it's pretty much always going to be. Unless she wants to wait outside for 2 hours after the gig. You're probably... And even then, your odds are slim.
Yeah.
So, but she's lost. Fortunately, Lila is a better friend than we give her credit and actually sent some people to find her.
She probably sent people to find her because they thought that she was going to be with Johnny Buck.
That's very, very good point, actually. Yeah,
she doesn't care.
That's fair.
But so they get into Janet State's car, and then in the car, Jess showed everyone the photo.
Yeah, she's like, they're like, did he join the unicorns? And she's like, well, he didn't have time to talk to me, but he did personally sign this.
Mm. And Janet sneers because she bought that exact photo in the refreshment tent.
Yeah, she basically says he did the same for thousands of other girls too.
And Jess thinks, well, maybe I can ask Alice to get me homeschooled.
Yeah, that's it. This is the end of my life.
End of my school career. Back at home, Liz has come clean to Alice about what's gone on.
Yeah.
But she leaves out the part about the concert.
Everything except the concert, yeah.
Mrs. Bramble arrives to collect Sally, and they explain to her too. Yeah. And she's obviously, she's in tears.
Oh, Mrs. Bramble breaks down, and she says that, ever since her husband died, Sally's all she had. She's all she had in the world. And Liz feels awful, even though, obviously you feel awful for Mrs. Bramble, but she should be furious with Jess at this point.
So Jess, Alice, and Mrs. Bramble, they go searching the streets for the dog.
Yes.
And Alice says that Liz should call the Fowlers and tell Jess they're coming to collect her.
Yeah, and Liz, of course, panics, wondering if she can delay Alice to hide the fact of the concert. She needs to wait long enough that they'll be home, because if they go there, the gig is up.
Yeah. So she offers to make some tea, and Liz says that we should report Sally missing to the police.
Yeah. Like the police would do anything.
Yeah. But then Liz has an idea.
Yeah.
Maybe Sally has gone back to her home.
Yeah, maybe she has.
Like Lassie.
Like Lassie. So Mrs. Bramble is like, no, I think she's too old to have made it home. She's a really old dog. But Liz's justification is like, well, Lassie came home. And Alice is like, okay. I mean, I guess we're going to the Fowlers. We can stop by on the way on the off chance, But
at Mrs. Bramble's, there's no sign of Sally.
No.
But they
may as well let Mrs. Bramble in at this point.
Yeah, they get Miss Bramble to put her suitcase inside while they're there. Mm-hmm. And Sally is sitting in the living room.
Yes, she's magic. No. Apparently, they have a dog door.
Yeah.
She got it installed, and Sally let herself in after she killed and ate Tabitha.
And then
will we ever hear from Tabitha again? Or was that the end of Tabitha?
I'm a fan of Tabitha.
I'm a fan of Tabitha.
And then they head to Lila's to get Jess.
Yes.
And Alice tells Liz to tell Jessica to bring the money and return it to Mrs. Bramble.
Yeah.
Because she didn't do the job.
Yeah, she didn't do the job. And she's also said to Mrs. Bramble that she's going to make Jess come back and apologise because she thinks it's important. Mrs. Bramble's kind of like, all's forgiven now, it's okay. Yeah. But she's like, no. I was like, fair enough. Now, Liz was angry when she turned up at the Fowlers. Mm. But it only gets worse.
Yeah. Because then when Jessica answers the door, she's wearing Liz's outfit.
Not only that.
Jess reaches her hand up to try and hide the earrings. But she realises one is missing. So they both dash up to Lila's room to search for the earring, but it isn't there. And they've got to just give up and go to the car. But Liz warns her that Alice is furious.
Yeah. She's like, you're on your own this time.
But she says she doesn't know about the concert.
No. But she says to Jess that Alice has promised you're going to pay back the money.
Yeah. And Jess begs Liz to lend it to her.
But she hasn't got it.
Liz says, well, I spent it on the earrings.
Yeah.
That you've
lost one of. Yeah.
So on the way to Mrs. Bramble's, Alice is telling Jess how disappointed she is in her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't seem that angry.
She basically says, like, I realise you weren't doing this maliciously, but you are a selfish bitch.
Yeah.
You know, in a parenty way, not in that way.
And Mrs. Bramble's the same. She's like, you know, I'm just disappointed rather than angry. And she says, I know you spent the money on your mum's present.
I know.
And I know that your heart was in the right place.
Yeah. But in a very uncharacteristic twist, Jess actually comes clean to Mrs. Bramble.
Yeah. And Mrs. Bramble comforts her and she says, you can work off the debt by walking Sally for a month. As if you trust her again.
Yeah, I would be like, you're never coming near my dog.
Come near my dog
ever again.
Yeah.
But of course, Mrs. Bramble admits that she has a dark past. When she was a child, she snuck out to a concert as well. She was a child once. She remembers what it's like.
Didn't she say she dyed her hair red or something?
Something like that, yeah. And
crazy.
Jess is like, did you get in trouble with your parents? And Mrs. Bramble's like, oh yeah, I got in serious trouble. So, you know, they kind of bond. But I would not trust this girl with my dog ever again.
And then later on, Jessica gives Liz the cap. It's not special anymore.
No.
And she also promises to wash and iron the dress.
Yeah. Yeah. She, then obviously Liz, when they get home, gives her the gift from Mrs. Bramble.
Yeah.
And they open it.
And it's a beautiful bracelet.
It is. And of course, Jessica thinks it would look lovely on her and she'd love to have it. However, she does say, no, actually, Liz, you can give this to Alice for her birthday. And, Liz being lovely, Liz being Liz, says, it can be from both of us. And she hugs Jess.
Yeah. And then Jess asks Liz if she can walk Sally for a month.
Yeah. I mean, something's never changed.
And thank God Liz says no.
Yeah, Liz says no, and that is fair.
Finally.
Come on.
Yeah.
And then they talk about this bitch called Brooke Dennis.
Kicker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jess tells Liz all about the dog kicker. That's what I'm going to call her from now on. And she says, I've already got a nickname for her. Disgusting Dennis. And we should point out that when they were looking for Sally, Amy did knock on Brooke's door, and she commented to Liz how awful Brooke was. Because I think Brooke said, good, I'm glad it's lost, or something like that. She's just like, she's just like the worst human. And Elizabeth says that name fits her. And then they say, Liz says, but we should give her a chance. No, you shouldn't.
Should you?
She kicked a dog.
I'm pretty sure if I saw someone kicking an
Nobody
animal, I would immediately be like, no, you have no chance. No. So next time.
Yeah. Because, Elizabeth says, we should give her a chance because she's going to be new in school. And she says, how would you feel coming to a new school in the middle of the year? And Jessica says, not half as bad as Miss Uppty's going to feel.
Yeah.
If I have anything to say about it.
And Jessica says, how would you feel if you were a dog and you got kicked?
Yeah, she doesn't say that.
No, she doesn't. But come on.
But the end bit says, Jessica's not the only one with plans for Brooke Dennis. Be sure to read The New Girl, Sweet Valley Twins #6. Well, be sure to read it or just listen to us talk about it.
Or just listen to us talk about it, yeah. Because we will be back in a fortnight with that episode of Casey's. Thank you for listening and thank you for being patient with us.
Yeah, thank you for everything. So our next episode next week will be back to Sweet Valley High, Kelly's Roadhouse.
I'm excited.
Promises.
Because...
Trashy Betsy. moving in with the Wakefields.
Betsy is moving in and Jess is not going to be happy. I am so excited.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Can't wait.
And then next month we're currently planning our Halloween specials.
Yeah, we're going to have a couple
we won't reveal which books they're going to be yet.
No, but we're going to do double, aren't we? We're going to do a Casey's Halloween and we're going to do a Kelly's Halloween.
Yeah, so obviously the twins books have super chillers.
Yeah.
So we're going to do one of them. And for the Sweet Valley High, we're going to do a super thriller, even though they're not like really spooky.
I think
they are about murder.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think the one you've picked is a bit slashery. It's Halloween-y. Yeah.
So we'll be announcing that in the next few weeks as well.
Yes.
So we'll catch you next week, hopefully. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much. Catch you next time.